Hello, hi, and howdy. Welcome on in. I am Rocklive GNS, and this is another episode of Vintage Story. I hope you're having a good morning, or good day, good evening, wherever you may be watching, whenever you may be watching. I hope it's good for you. So, day two left off yesterday after finally having decided where I'm going to stay. Day two started off kind of boring and very grindy, with lots of digging up dirt, chopping down trees. I gotta clear this area, and in order to build something that resembles a place to live. And of course, then there's more digging dirt. And chopping down trees. So this was basically the whole, how I spent the whole morning. And in case you don't believe me, let me show you again how I'm digging dirt and chopping down trees. I'll spare you doing the rest of this. After I get the base area cleared out, I'll actually start on... I've already decided I want my house to have a basement and a main level. Beyond that, I don't know. This is just to get it started, and it's only the starter house. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make my first batch of rammed earth. Now, rammed earth is a new 1.20. It starts with packed dirt, and then basically you do the packed dirt recipe again, or in order to create rammed earth. And you can change the texture of rammed earth, but as you can see here, I'm not quite sure how to do it initially. I'll figure it out though, don't you worry. Sometimes some of these things just take a moment. So as you can see, you can change it to a textured block. And I happen to like this texture a little bit better. So I'm going to go with the textured version instead. And it's really simple to make. It's nice having another block to work with when you're just starting off, instead of trying to use regular dirt or just packed dirt. Now, the advantage of packed dirt and rammed earth is the fact that the grass won't grow on it. So now I just need to kind of suss out where I want everything to go, which is part of the fun. But first I got to get some layers out of the way. And really, little by little, each layer starts to disappear. Again, I want to make a full basement, so... Now, the basement is going to be a work in progress because, as you can see on the ground here, I've got, quartz. And quartz requires bronze tools. And since I'll only be starting off with copper, I won't be able to move it for a while. And now we get into the building. So, the rest of day two, I spent going off and just kind of making the outline of the framework for the basement. Again, I don't know what I'll keep other than, say, the walls, creating that as a foundation. But other than that, the rest of it is completely up in the air, and I won't be able to determine until I can actually move things. Part of the reason why I decided on a basement and a full level is just so I can have a cellar. So I actually will have to go downstairs and go do stuff in the cellar. So I get through all this, and it is well into the night. I can hear thunder off into the distance, so I know the rains are coming. I mean, what are you gonna do? The rain is naturally occurring, so at least it's not snow, I guess. But there we have it. The base area for what will be my first home. It's a starter home. I'm not overly familiar with the game, so you know, I'll do what I can. And you may have noticed how I put my torch into my inventory, take it out to put it in my offhand. I will eventually learn later on that I can just hit the letter X to do the same thing. And on day 3, I get to wake up in the rain. Which, of course, that was... I mean, it's kind of a rude awakening, really. I'm surprised I was able to sleep into the morning as long as I did. So I'll go ahead and put this bed up since I'm not going to need it till later. Hopefully, by the end of the day, I'll actually have a roof over my head. That'd be kind of nice. So, I mentioned in the last episode how I don't have a plan for this thing, for the build at all. I kind of get ideas just as I go along and wing it. This bites me a little bit in that I had to figure out on the fly whether I like something or whether I want to change it. But, you know, I mean, you do what you gotta do. So I will start off with some maple logs around the corners, just more so for decoration than making it look like support. And then I guess I'll just have to start building. I mean, it's now I didn't place these for, you know, to make it obvious where to put anything because, well, I've got a nice gray border box that tells me where to put everything. But, you know, everybody's got to start somewhere, and that's where I started. And then we'll get into actually placing things. So originally I thought I'd go along the wall of it, the wall of the basement, use that as an actual foundation. But then I decided I didn't like that so much, so I went ahead and went around and let the basement foundation be kind of standalone when it comes to the next level. Now I am going to try to not to do time-lapse builds too terribly much in future episodes. I really did it this time around more because it's the first time I'm building something that's supposed to look like a residence in Vintage Story. So I figured I would just do the whole thing instead of just doing bits and pieces or building it and going, ta-da, here it is. And I think it's funny too that while I'm doing the time lapse that the rain coming down sounds more like a really noisy, heavily cricketed area during the summer. So one thing I will take a moment to enjoy is how when you actually are covered from the rain, it reduces the sound. This rain was so, I mean, it was loud, but it was soothing. You know, so it wasn't like daunting. I was still able to do the work I wanted to do. So now we actually get to the border of the house. I just decided to go ahead and just enclose the entrance to what'll be the basement. One, for aesthetics, because that actually kind of looks cool having it boxed in like that. But then I also did it because I wanted to keep the doorways separate. My idea is that it's a separate basement. Not only that, but as things spawn in there, because I don't have light, I don't want to have to worry about them. they can stay stuck and spawned in there until they die from starvation. Of course, no home is complete without doors, so I'll start off with the really basic crude door, which, I mean, at least you get some kind of door, and I'm happy about that part. So I get them made up, and of course I'm going to place it in the wrong spot, naturally. But after I get that all done, I'll finally get them in, and ta-da! I have doorways. And a cellar door. Basement, cellar. But then, I get to learn a new feature in 1.0. This is a feature that was removed. As I understand it, this feature was removed and then re-added. The features of crude doors falling off their hinges. You can already see what kind of fun this is going to be. Why I bothered myself in messing around with it so long, I can't tell you. These doors, though. And of course, I placed this one in the wrong spot again. So I used the mechanic against it. Instead of beating it down, I just actually open and close it till it breaks off. Ugh, these doors. Another reason why I keep saying the first thing I'm going to make on an anvil is a saw. So I can make doors and planks, and I won't have to worry about this buggered stuff anymore. So I decided to use some fencing for windows for right now. I don't know. I think it kind of matches the aesthetic of it. And I really enjoyed that fact. That, and they're cheap. I know there's other types of fences that can be made and with different materials, but I haven't quite learned them yet. So these are the ones I'm going to go with. But with the way those doors are acting, I'm actually half tempted to go off and make those crude fence gates, and use those instead. And finally, though, I actually get to sit back, relax, and as I'm setting this video up at least, and watch as my soon-to-be humble abode actually starts to take shape with a roof. I'll be able to get out of the rain. I'll have a nice place to sleep and lay my head at night, which is pretty awesome. I'm okay with this. I keep going back and forth to each side because I didn't bother to measure out the dimensions, so I don't know if it's an even or odd amount across. At no point did I count. So I just decided to do it this way so I could see and be able to figure it out without having to put any real effort into it. Part of the reason why I'm doing this this kind of staggered way is eventually I find some tool, the plant TULE tool, or is it Thule, that I can turn into thatch after growing it, that I can turn into thatched roof. I don't know if you do know, please feel free to comment and make a comment about it. But I don't know that there is another easy thatched kind of roof method using just like dry grass, which you would think so, but I've only found the tool in order to be able to make it. So that's that. I actually have a roof on this place, and it looks somewhat like a dwelling. Looks more like a meeting hall than a house, but you know what? It'll be a great place to start. I think this place needs a campfire, so that's what I'll do next. I'll set the campfire up, somewhat centered. I mean, again, I don't know where the center is in this place, but I'll make it somewhat centered, and then after getting it lit, I'll get to enjoy a nice warm glow throughout whenever I have it lit. It's nice that the light is enough that I can put my torch away and it'll still light up the whole thing. I can still see everything inside of it. It's not necessarily a lot of light, but it's still light nonetheless. So at this point, I've got that done. I guess I should go and get everything from outside now. Of course, I do need light, extra light for that. So it'll be so nice not having to wake up in the morning being drenched in rain. This is a good thing. Ah, that door. I'm gonna make real doors, and I'm tossing those doors. I'm gonna figure out how to make those doors into firewood. They will cook a meal for me or something. They will actually be useful instead of just breaking like that. I like it. And it doesn't feel like a dirt home with the rammed earth, which is actually pretty cool. And it's a nice feature. It's something that I'm glad they did put in 120, because the packed dirt, of course, would still be useful in not having grass grow on it and stuff like that. But being able to have it like this, where it's got a texture to it and everything like that, makes it feel more stone-like instead of dirt-like. So I guess I'll go get this little tree I left outside, and that'll be it. I won't have to go outside for the rest of the night. Of course, it's nice when they open and close at the same time. Munch on some berries. And as I did mention in the first episode, I do have my hunger set a little bit better, a little bit lower, because of having my months be longer by days. So instead of 9 days, which is the default, I actually have 30 days per month. So it's kind of the trade-off of the fact that I'm going to have much longer winters than normal. So nice organizing things. This won't last, of course, but some simple organization to make it look nice for at least one night. I'm okay with that. Look at that. Nice clean inventory. I actually have space. And about the last thing I really need to do now is just mark this on the map. And one thing I appreciate about the map is as you make something or do something to the world, it actually changes what it looks like on the map. And that'll be that. I made a home in Vintage Story. And with that, I hope you have a good morning, good day, good evening, whatever the case may be for you. I hope it's a good one. And if you did enjoy the video, well, first of all, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like the video and consider subscribing if you want to see more. Until next time, I'm Rockleman, GNS, take care, and bye-bye.